Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, where is everyone? Where are you? Where are you? I do that to my son all the time. So when my wife and I go to church on Sundays, the pastor, whenever he's making a point, he kind of does one of these. He just always does it. I don't know. So when I'm playing with my son, I always go, "What are you doing? Get over here!" And it was funny because when our pastor was having the conversation to marry us, right? Like the mediation, no, I guess just the meet and greet, whatever, right before it. He was talking, and I would do that to him. Hey, good morning, Ian. And my wife would die laughing, or my fiance at the time. And, the pastor was like, what are you laughing about? And I didn't think she was going to throw me under the bus. She's like, well, my husband always kind of does this, and it's because you do it. So it's like a little running, playful joke we have. And he took it in good stride. So that was kind of cool. And here we are. So welcome, everyone. Good morning. A couple of things. So, as I was thinking more about, hey, good morning, Deborah. Because I think yesterday when I was doing our live meeting, I kind of went through all the different metrics associated with Rhino and how, of 100% to 70% and the 7% and blah, blah, blah. And if you don't follow what I just said, watch the live from yesterday and you'll get it quite easily. But for those that do understand what I'm saying, it kind of really stuck with me in the last 24 hours. And, it's when you're stewarding something in your mind, you're completely biased that's going to work, right? Because it's you came up with it, you thought of it. In fact, every step of it is your opinion. Because again, until anything is actually completed, it's just opinion. And you could call it something more like forecast or expectations or calculations, but it's all opinion. The variables of opinion include calculations and forecasts. So to say fried shrimp is shrimp tempura, you're kind of being semantical, right? So I'm like so stuffy. My son is coughing, my wife is coughing, and I just know it. I see it in the house and I'm like, it's gonna get to me any day now. And I think I woke up with it. But anyway, so as I was going through the numbers, our live Wednesday for the big event that we're doing, the webinar, I'm going to spend probably Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday preparing for that webinar, but really illustrating the numbers, because I think what's kind of cool, like I said, like when you're stewarding something, you're completely biased. You always believe it's going to work, and you have confirmation bias, right? Like when something happens, you perceive it in the light of proving that it's going to work. Like for instance, if you think it's going to rain tomorrow and you go through the weather reports, you're now looking for a weatherman that's agreeing with you, and you kind of dismiss all the other ones. It's kind of how Fox News and CNN work. If they're not fair and balanced, and they're purposely not fair and balanced, because their most passionate audience is the audience that's looking to be fed something that they already believe. They just want to hear it over and over again so that they believe that they're correct. Hey, Frida. And that's how it is being a founder. Everything that happens is confirmation bias. So, if something goes wrong, I'm like, oh, perfect. I knew something was going to go wrong and something did go wrong, so now I could correct it. And another person would look at it like, something went wrong. That's not good, right? Like if you knew it was going to go wrong, you would have put a process in place, hey, Brian, that would have ensured it didn't go wrong. Like it went wrong as a calculation or as a result of you not knowing. And obviously, as what I just said, both sides make sense. It's just a matter of which side you're on. So when you're a founder, or when you give your opinion, or when you're publicly tied to something, like even if it's something as silly as telling your husband or your wife that you heard the movie's not good. Well, 10 people might say it was amazing, but that one person that says it wasn't good, you amplify them. Yeah, well, I spoke to Ted and this is what Ted said. And I think what Ted was getting at is the reason other people don't see what he sees as because, right? So you always have something for it. Sorry. And the point I'm getting at is I know I have that. It's by definition, everyone has it, especially when you're founding something. But the point I'm trying to make in a very long-winded fashion, apparently, is that when I went over the numbers, it was unambiguously objective. It wasn't confirmation bias anymore. The numbers are so unambiguously, objectively exactly what we were shooting for. In fact, even more so, that I do believe once we go ahead and announce the numbers and present them in a respectable fashion, right? Like that's why I'm saying I'm going to put it together Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, that I want the presentation to be so crisp, so, oh my God, wow, I can't believe this, while completely treating the filet mignon as the filet, right? Like the numbers are the value. Let's not go ahead and put a whole bunch of sauce on. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, let the numbers speak for themselves, let the steak speak for itself. And I think what's going to happen is going to be kind of magical, because I want the presentation to be something that obviously we can record, but it's something that we can then replay. That's so powerful that we can then put it on its own sales lander. And when people actually see it, they're like, whoa, I did not know this was going on. And this is really strong. And this is all a byproduct of when I did our presentation just on our live yesterday, and those numbers stuck with me. I've really been thinking about them further. In fact, I've been thinking about them even more. And the crazy part of it all is, so we have like 300 and, I mean, we had as high as, like, if you add in everyone that's ever been a member ever, like including the people that trialed and didn't want to be a part of it anymore, the people that did try it and eventually left, the people that missed 3 payments and they're automatically, account is closed. I think we probably had close to like 420 people, which actually makes the numbers even bigger. Because like what I said yesterday was we have 350 members and only 270 wallets. Well, that's not really true. We have 270 wallets, but we've had 420 members, which means the percentage of people that actually go ahead and opt into getting to a wallet is even less than what we thought. And again, that's not a commentary on, oh, look, we found a way to fool people. 30% of people will never even look to take their money. Ha, 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 ha. No, that's not the case. The case is that there's a percentage of people that have gotten in that have already made the decision to themselves, I know this is going to be big. I don't need to go ahead and get a wallet today because I have no intention of selling today. That they don't have that immediate motivation that they have to have a wallet today. Now, of course, having a wallet today does not mean that you're going to sell today, right? That's a different story. But you cannot sell without a wallet. So if you don't have a wallet, it is unambiguously true that you're not looking to sell today, because if you don't have a wallet, you can't do it. Now, when it comes down to those that actually do have wallets, I think we have a total of maybe 25 people that have ever sold, 25 in total. And about of those 25, I think only 6 or 7 have ever sold more than 5 times. So the numbers are so unambiguously objective that those that opt into this platform understand the math enough and are confident enough in seeing the performance, that this platform, because I'm on live every day, because we do the email every day, because we secure the performance every day, it's constantly doing this. Whatever the ingredients are, it has produced and has equaled a bond. And what I mean by that is those that are in are bonded in the sense that they look at that price as my report card. And they see that I'm here every day. They see that I write the email every day. And they know, well, in no way, shape, or form, if something goes wrong, is Anthony just going to disappear? Because Anthony is Rhino. Rhino is something so much bigger than a rug pull, right? Like so much bigger than, oh, I made a mishap, right? Like Anthony has come out here every single day when things don't go right. And he goes, hey, this didn't work right. We need to go ahead and correct this. Anthony, when finances are not a concern, but are on the mind, or when this is on the mind, he comes out and says it. In fact, I've spoken to many people that say this is the most transparent platform I've ever seen. And I say that because you're the first person to say when things go wrong, and then you find a solution and solve it. And that's part of the bond. It's not when you're with someone that's perfect all the time. It's when you're with someone that something does not go correct, they share it, and then they solve it right in front of you, that you know that that person has the ability to solve. It's, it's like when I was, thank you, Bill. And it's like when I was in the stock market. It was a sentence I would actually say quite often. So, when I would speak to someone and, I was trying to persuade them to move their account over, And they're like, why would I move my account over? My broker's perfect. He never makes a mistake. And I was like, that's the most dangerous thing I've ever heard. And it offers a little shock value because the person's like, what are you talking about? I go, well, I think you would agree no one's perfect, right? Yeah, okay. Well, then if you think he's perfect, either he's never made a mistake, in which case you have no idea how he's going to act when he does make a mistake, or he's been lying to you. It's only one of the two. And the person on the phone would say, oh, wow, I never thought of it that way. And that's just the way I've always thought about things. I want to be with someone that makes mistakes because I want to see how they act. I want to see what their ability is to solve something, because then I know, all right, things are going to happen, but I trust that the person I'm with is prepared to deal with that situation. And I'll never go into like all of the sacrifices and all the everything I've had to, even personally, put on the line to go ahead and secure Rhino, that price that goes up every day. Because as you can imagine, there's a whole world of stock market, right? Like we're literally the only asset that's gone up every day for over 3 months. Now, you might say to yourself, well, how can that be? Well, don't you think every stock wants to go up every day? Don't you think everything wants to go up every day? But we're the only ones. So to go ahead and say it hasn't been easy is a really understatement. But I also know that if I'm able to be in front of you every day, I'm able to share the good, the bad, the ugly, and the solutions, and I'm able to continually guide your focus to something that is it's publicly traded, right? Like I can't control it. Anyone could do anything they want on it. Meaning if I'm able to show it to you as this is my report card, and I don't have the physical control to control everything, well, then the people that are a part of it are like, okay, I'm bonding in this. Everyone can see the comments in the chat. As we grow, there'll be more people in the chat. And when everyone is in something together, nobody ever needs the money today, right? And those that do can have it today. Like that's not a problem. But anytime someone's investing, it's not because they need the money today, it's because they want the money to grow to a later date. And since everyone's timelines to a later date is different, and some timelines are to a later date to then pass down to the next person who holds it to a later date, because the thought process of when you're going to redeem those funds is so scattered, there'll never be any, and probabilistically, right? Like mathematically, probabilistically, there'll never be a single date where any more than 2% or 5% or 7% of the people involved will say, well, it's February 10th, 2030, and my horoscope says if I'm a Scorpio, take out all the money today, right? Like there'll never be that. Therefore, the funding can always go ahead and support. And I cannot stress enough, this is all it a means to an end. This platform is not built, nor is it designed to, in perpetuity, be like a round robin where the plans fund the price action and eventual redemptions. No, that's only meant to go ahead and exhaust the 1 billion supply. And while doing so, and the reason we've always kept it compressed was that we want to go ahead and grow the accounts, because the real moment is, like, if you think this is good, this is like getting the annoying stuff out of the way. So for anyone that's like, oh my God, this is so great, I can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. This is the tedious part. This is not even the goal, which is funny because any normal rational human being could say, yeah, I'm up like 240% in the last 3 months. What are you? And people would celebrate that. Like another part of the bond is that there's not even a part of me that's like running around shaking hands and high-fiving when in reality we're the best performing asset in the entire world. No, because this isn't the goal. The goal is that once we deplete that 1 billion coin supply and all the accounts that we've grown all the accounts are automated to buy at market price. So say we grow that number from 350, I think it's like 245 to 345, God, not 245. The 345 today to say 10,000. And you might say, well, Ant, that's like a big jump. Like if you hadn't done it yet, how are you going to do it? Well, we haven't done marketing. Like that's what we're raising money for. All we've been doing is spending 90 days creating a proof of concept. This is more or less a case study. Now we go ahead and show it, like I was explaining in terms of the numbers that are in my head that I want to present for Wednesday. It's almost like an oncology meeting. You have And that's cancer study. Like you're in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then you go ahead and report to the FDA. This is what we found. This is our numbers. That's what we're essentially doing. We've done all of our case study. Now we're going to present our numbers. And it is our belief that with marketing and with presentation and with funds being raised, we could then do a whole bunch of different ads. We could do a whole bunch of influencer partnerships. We could do a whole bunch of blah, 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 blah. And when that number gets to, say, 10,000, now you have 10,000 accounts, all low dollar amount, automated to buy at market price. And when the coin is completely gone, that means we can't sell any coin into the market to suppress the price. That means the price just explodes. But the coolest part about that is this tedious, annoying stuff that we're doing right now, this bonding thing that we're talking about, is also essentially allowing everyone to know exactly what's going to happen. Like, that's how we've always done everything. You've always known what was going to happen. And what's different about that is in any market, when it goes parabolic, right? Like say in Bitcoin, where you own it at like 1 cent and 2 cents, and all of a sudden it's like 70,000. Well, everyone in that is like, they're nervous, they're cautious, right? Like when you're in a losing trade, and I'll tell you this, it's so backwards, right? Like when you own a stock and it's down, you're not happy, but you're also comfortable because it's down. And so the bad part already happened. In fact, the only thing that could happen is the good part. It could rebound. When you're in a stock that's up, you're happy, but you're so uncomfortable because and it's actually behavioral science proven that earning $3 equals losing $1 in terms of your emotions. So it's 3 to 1. Meaning that, say you own Bitcoin at 70,000. Now, mind you, say you owned it at 1 cent, right? Like say you own Bitcoin at 1 cent and it goes to 70,000. You're like, oh my God, look at me. You're counting all your money. Then the next day it's at 60,000. Do you know how much you want to vomit? Because now you're calculating, oh my God, I lost this much money in a week. Oh my God. And you know what you do when Bitcoin's at 60,000 and say it goes to 55,000? You're like, I can't take this anymore. This is killing me. The pain, I can't, how much money did I lose? When in reality, you didn't lose money, you just made less. But that's how it feels. So the point is, when things go parabolic in the stock market, been there, felt, yeah, Dr. Smith, right? So when things go parabolic in the stock market, you're so anxious. So the people that own it look to actually sell it. And then as it goes higher, they regret it and they go buy back more. And that cycle happens until there's no more buyers left, and then it crashes. And those people all say the same thing: I wish I got out sooner. That's the behavior of it. With us, it's not that at all, because we've built and structured it for that moment. Like everything we did is for that moment. It's not even for now. Like I was talking to our tech team about the search engine. Do you know by tomorrow we're going to have location maps pinned to your actual location? Because everyone was saying, well, if everyone's searching the same zip code, well, we kind of need to know the address of individual places to map them. And I said, of course. So we've been working on that. There's like 500 people that use a search engine in the entire world. Do you think I need that for now? No, we need it for later. So everything is built for later. And the point being, when the moment comes where, Rhino goes parabolic, everyone's going to sit here and say, I'm not selling. I've watched Anthony every single day. This is the moment we were all waiting for. And it's not so much, okay, well, it's going to stay up because no one sells. That's not the case. It stays up because there's no more coin left. And everyone knows that the accounts are automated to buy at market, which means they have to buy it. Like the accounts have to buy it. And people would say to me, well, Ant, what if there's no more to sell? How does people buy it? No, there's never no more to sell. There might be no more to sell at that price, but if people own something, you can buy it. It's just what price do they want to sell it at? And when you take a look at the numbers and realize 100% of the accounts are buying, but only say 7% of the accounts are selling, well, how does that even make sense? How does the buys get fulfilled? Well, you have to go ahead and entice few other buyers, other sellers. So if only 7% want to sell, and say you need 20% to sell, right? Well, how do you entice the other 13% that weren't already going to sell? Hey, Bill, I'll buy this from you for $5. No, I'm not selling it for $5. Hey, Bill, I'll buy it from you for $10. Oh, I'm not doing it at 10. I'll do it for 50. I'll buy it from you 15. Anthony, before you keep going, I'm not doing it unless it's 100. Well, gosh darn, I guess I have to buy it for 100 because that's the market, because Bill's the only one willing to sell. And by Bill's allowing 100, now all of a sudden other people say, oh, well, I would sell it for 100. Great. Now the buys keep buying those ones. What happens when all those 100 people run out? How do you buy again? You have to go to the 101s, the 105s. And the point being, we've purposely built this, and I don't want to keep saying that because it sounds like facetious at this point, but there are certain things that we purposely did. And what I mean by that is in the beginning, I always purposely did low dollar amounts. And people would actually, I've gotten plenty of emails where they're like, Ant, why don't you do $1,000 plans? Instead of doing weekly plans, why don't you just raise 10,000 or 50,000? And I said, yeah, that would make life a lot easier, right? Like we would have money, but can I count on that person giving me 50,000 every month? No, I can't. Can I count on that person giving me 10,000 every two? No, I can't. Therefore, this then just becomes another one of those stock market ploys where it goes and, it grows until the money runs out and then there's no more money to support it. So although that would have been easier and much more lucrative, maybe I'd be driving a Ferrari, right? Yeah, right. I don't think I've driven my car in like weeks. But that was never the way to do it. The way to always do it was to go ahead and create this bond with the masses, bring everyone in low dollar amounts that we know that they could handle going forward. For instance, Bill or Brian or whomever, if you have a $5 plan, do you think you could do the $5 plan in perpetuity? Of course. And if you can't do the $5 plans because your financial situation got so bad that you can't do it, not because you ever thought, I don't want to do it. And the percentage of those that get into financial situations that are so bad that they can't continue, say, $5 a week is far less than those that say, I'm not, I just don't want to do it. Which means if we continue the performance and we continue the growth, there's never going to be a moment where someone says, I just don't want to be a part of this really great thing anymore. All in all, when you put that all together, you equal something that is, I say it all the time, and I sometimes I'm like, do I even hear myself? Is going to go to infinity. And this is, and the bigger picture has always been, how do we transfer the wealth from Wall Street back to Main Street? Well, it's not difficult to do on paper, right? All of Wall Street's wealth is in their assets. So we have to create an asset, right? Like we have to compete with them. Okay, well, how do you do that? Well, we did. Well, how do you make it so great that you're able to compete? What's bigger than Apple? What's bigger than Boeing? What's bigger than McDonald's? How about population? Well, yeah, population is the biggest thing in the world. Okay, great. We made an asset of population. Well, how do you even do that? Well, population's infinite, isn't it? Not really. The world's going to end. Well, when the world ends, does it matter what the asset's worth? No. So population's infinite till the world ends. Yes. Okay, so if you go ahead and calculate a small dollar amount that the average individual can participate in, educate the average participant to understand what we're doing, create a case study that proves what we're doing, then welcome the masses in, can you create a situation where the population as a whole are participating in a platform that they're financially able to do while understanding what the outcome is? Yeah, okay, I see where you're going with this. Well, if the asset's limited, right, only 1 billion Rhino, and population's infinite, and population's going to continue doing this investment on an infinite basis, well, infinite demand, limited supply, oh. And how is it valued? It's valued in dollars. Okay, so when this thing goes up, it costs more dollars. Yeah. Well, if there's 1 billion supply and now the price keeps going up, it's worth 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion. Yeah, that's the way that works. But where's that money coming from? Well, it's coming from the money in the world. There's only a finite amount of money in the world. Therefore, the more money that comes here is coming from somewhere else. Okay, but where's it coming from? Well, we're an asset, right? Yes. So it's coming from other assets. Okay, what are the other assets? Wall Street. And what's our asset? Main Street. Oh, so that's how you're transferring the wealth from them back to the people that it belongs to by doing this. Yes, that's the goal. So yeah, we're up 240%. Great. I hope everyone is like jumping up and down, but it's nowhere near the goal. Zero, not even close. So that's what we're doing. Nothing really, just changing the world. These smaller amounts are much more sustainable long term. So yeah, Brian, you're spot on. Okay, so I've completely gone over again. So let me get going. Do I have anything today? Yeah, Rhino, new all-time high. Membership numbers down to 345. Again, I'm purposely not marketing for new membership, But today I will be doing Bump Up, where I'll email everyone, please upgrade your plan. In which case I also email those that canceled and those that are members without a plan. So usually on Thursday, Friday, and or Saturday, whenever I do it, and I think I'm doing it today. I might not. I'll guess what time I have. There is one day where there is a spike, so maybe it'll be today. I have no idea. Also, the number that may be of concern is the average plan actually dropped $2. I think it's like 17 something. That was purposeful. One of the $500 plans, I spoke to yesterday, and he, because we're raising money, he goes, Ant, I was looking to get my account up to X amount. It's currently at, a Y amount. If you want to go ahead and do it all at once, I'll do it, but then you're going to lower my $500 plan to $1 because I was keeping it $500 till we got to that number. He goes, that's up to you. I said, okay, I would like to do that. So we came into a whole bunch of money, but the average plan went down because his 500 dropped. So I just want to share that it wasn't unexpected. Like that was purposeful. What else? I think that's it. So yeah, we're going to continue kicking butt. And I love everyone. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.